Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I welcome all of you to today's session, and I hope every one of you can hear me clearly. Um, inshallah, we would, yes, mashallah, Brother Usman, you're welcome. Alhamdulillah. We would be continuing. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Alhamdulillah. We would be continuing our discussion on ism. I believe by close of yesterday, we all know the first property of an ism, which is the status, and we'll pick it up from there, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So alhamdulillah, I would like to reiterate again that we need to set our minds to change or to have a change of understanding or how to understand the Quran directly. Have confidence in ourselves or have confidence in yourself that you can make an effort to better understand the Quran directly more than how you have been doing so far. And with that intention and that mindset, the approach then we will meet somewhere, definitely. But if you come to the class most of the time with a positioned mind that, because as I said respectfully, that all of you have learned the Nahu and you might have taught the Nahu and so on. But the method we are using here, which we are sharing, is just to tell you how we found it more effective to do the teaching and to do the learning also. And so basically give that a chance and say, well, let's see how it works and let's see how applicable it is, because we've tried it with other people and it worked. So that mindset is what we want to take along, so that as we share those concepts, pick them. They are just an additional information for you in case you have already learned the subject throughout. But how we structured the curriculum and how we go about it, maybe you might learn how to do it better. So basically that is just by way of motivation for myself and all of you. And so we will pick up our discussion. As a recap, the Arabic language is structured into kalimat, murakkabat naqisa, and jumal. That is, words, fragments, and sentences. Words are what we are treating now. We've already discussed word for the past 2 days. And we said a word in Arabic is of 3 types: ism, fa'il, and harf. You can also call them the parts of speech of Arabic. And for you to understand it better, we give a simple definition of each. And we said that an ism is a word that has meaning in itself, but is not related to time. Whilst fa'il is a word that has a meaning in itself, but related to time. And the time can either be madi, mudari, or amr. That is past, present, or future. We also mentioned that future in Arabic is unlike future in English. Future in Arabic is divided into either amr or nahi. And we said we're going to discuss that when we come to fi'l. Then we also defined harf as a word that makes no sense by itself, but needs an ism or a fi'l to make meaning or to make sense. By that, we move straight to details of an ism, and we said isms have 4 properties. Those 4 properties need to be understood well, and they are status, number, gender, and type. So every word that is an ism in Arabic, you must or you should be able to define it based on those 4 properties. We picked the first property, and that is the status. And we give the, layman's understanding of what the status is. And in Arabic, that is what is known as halat al-i'rab. Halat al-i'rab, not i'rab, but halat al-i'rab. That means the position that an ism takes as it is, so that defines it. And for you to be able to identify the status of an ism, you need to consider 4 things. You consider the form of the ending part of it. What form does it take? Does it have a sound or an ending combination? And is the sound U, A, or E? And is the ending combination Ani, Una, Atun, or Aini, Ina, or Atin, and so on. So if you are able to determine the form of the ending of an ism, then you would have treated one aspect of the status. The second aspect of the status that we need to know is how to tell the ending, or what are the things I'm looking at in order for me to know that the ending is A or this or that. So the ending of Rafa, Nasb, or Jar, which are the 3 different forms of that ending. So the Rafa, Nasb, or Jar can either be in a sound form or an ending combination form. So you can have a Rafa that is only a sound, like U. So when we say Baytun, for instance, the sound there is Un. So this is a Rafa status. When I say Baytan, this is Nasb status. When I say Baytin, Jar status. So the sign of U, A, E determine the status of form, if it is Rafa, Nasb, or Jar. And that is when the word is in a singular shape, like Baytun, Baytani, like Baytun, Baytan, Baytin. But if Baytun is pair, for instance, where it will have an ending combination, like Baytani, then the Ani at the end of the word indicates that the word is in Rafa status. If it is Aini, so when I say Baytaini, then this particular word would either be in Nasb status or Jar status, because both Nasb and Jar status have the ending of Aini if it is pair. Pair is a number. Today we are going to treat number, so don't worry about the number. And then if a word ends, for instance, in E as Kisra for a singular shape word, if it becomes plural or pair, it will have an ending combination. So the ending combination can either be Aini or Una. So Muslimaini and Muslimuna. And Muslimuna, for instance, is in Rafa status, but Muslimina and Muslimina is in Jar and Nasb status for a plural word. And that plural word in that case is masculine. But if the plural word is feminine, then there will be an ending combination. But in this case, the ending combination would not be Una or Ina, but it will be Atun or Atin. So Atun or Atin, wherever we see it, is for a plural ism that is for feminine. Okay? So anytime we hear Muslimatun, qanitatun, for instance, abidatun. So having that atun at the end tells you it's a feminine word, and also it's plural in number. Okay, and it's also in rafa status. If it is atin, then we'll say it's either nasb or jar. So that's how we tell. So we say we tell the ending by looking at it in either it's being in an ending combination, combination meaning harfs and sounds, or ending sound without any harf or without any letter, like the u, a, and e. Okay, so this ending sound and ending combination is part of understanding the status. Then we move to the third aspect of understanding a status, when we said you need to also determine if the word is heavy or light. Heavy or light only has to do with the sound of the n sound, either because there is tanween or there is a noon at the end of the word. So in the case of the ending combinations, you will have a noon. But in the case of the sounds, we have an n sound or n sound, and that's what we call tanween. Okay. So for instance, when I say Muhammadun, there is tanween there. So that n at the end makes the word heavy. Muhammadani. So the ni makes it what? Heavy. So if you remove the ni, it becomes Muhammada. And it's also another word, but that Muhammada in this case is light. Muhammadu with only dhamma without the tanween is also light. So that either heavy or light bet is also part of what will help you to know a status. And then the final thing that will help us know a status is the flexibility of an ism. And when we talk about flexibility of an ism, we are talking about if the ending of the ism will show the u, a, e, or not, or if it will partly show and partly would not show the three different forms. So you can see that those three different forms, u, a, and e, those are the basics. And then their equivalent ending combinations are really what we are looking at when it comes to an ism, okay? And it's i'rab in Nahaw, okay? So we focus at the end of the word. That's why the knowledge of Nahaw is so peculiar, in that it is not a knowledge that deals about what the structure of or the pattern of the words themselves, but the ending, how it sounds, which determines what the word's role is in a sentence or in an ayah, as the case may be. Okay. Now, that makes up the four things to look for to determine a status. And a status is just one property. The second property is the number, which we are going to discuss today. And the number is either mufrad, muthanna, or jama. So there are only three types of numbers in Arabic. We are going to look at them in details. So if we know these three types of numbers, we would have done with number, which is al-adad. That is the second type of second of the four properties of an ism, number. So the number is mufrad, muthanna, jama, singular, pair, plural. Then we look at the gender. What is a gender? The gender is either masculine or feminine. So every word in Arabic can either be masculine or feminine. But there are certain things that will make you understand the feminine and masculine, which we'll treat, inshallah. The final property is the type. And type has to do with either proper or common, either the word being a proper word or a common word. When I say proper or common, for those who know the Nahaw, they know what is nakira and ma'rifah. So if a word is nakira, then it is common. If it is ma'rifah or mu'arraf, then it is proper. These are the two types of type, okay, that we have. And so those are the four properties that we are going to conclude in learning today, inshallah. And then after that, we'll look at the pronouns before the close of the day, okay? So, but basically, I would like you to remember that we are dealing with ism up to now. And ism is the most important of all the three types of words in Arabic. Okay, so let me share my screen now. So we pick it up from where we stopped yesterday. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen. Can you see my empty screen, please? Alhamdulillah. Okay, good. Now we will discuss number today, and that is al-adad. Okay, so every ism in Arabic has a number. I mean, that's very interesting, right? Anytime you hear of an ism, then it has an adad. So, for instance, when I say madrasatun, definitely has an adad. Adad means the number. So madrasatun is only one. So madrasatun is one, madrasatani two, and madarisun, for instance, is many. Okay, so wherever you, for instance, when I say baytun is one, baytani two, and buyutun more than one. Okay, mu'minun one, mu'minani two of them, and mu'minuna a lot of them, right? So these numbers matter a lot because you can see that when I say mu'minun, then I say mu'minani. But you remember also some of the places you hear mu'minina. Now, what is the difference between the mu'minani and mu'minuna and mu'minina and so on? We are going to look at those ones, inshallah. But the most important thing here is that the adad is one or the second property of an ism. Now, these are the types of adad that there are in Arabic. So the student or the learner will just pick up the mufrad, muthanna, jamal, and let him understand that mufrad means singular, muthanna means pair or dual. We use the word pair or dual, and then plural means jamal. So anytime I talk about adad, then these are the things that we are talking about. Now, the mufrad and muthanna are very easy, no issues. Mufrad, muthanna, but the jamal, there are a number of types of jamal. So jamal in Arabic is where a little concentration is needed for us to really understand it. So there are kinds of jamal. The first one is the normal masculine plural. This one is called jam'u muzakkar salimun. Okay. So when I say normal, it means that it maintains the form of the singular. So you see, this is muslimu, muslim. So you can see the muslim, and you can see the muslim in all the three forms of the plural, right? Now these three forms are what? The status of rafa, nasb, and jar. So anytime I get a word, I would like to put it in terms of its status. So the three forms of a status are rafa, nasb, jar. So when I say muslimuna, I mean the plural word in the status of rafa. Muslimina is a plural word in the status of nasb. And muslimina, again, plural word in the state of jar. So you can see that nasb and jar are actually the same, but we need to separate them so that we will understand it clearly. And yesterday we did mention that. How do I know if this is in a status of nasb or jar? It will depend on the context. Yesterday we mentioned how to know a rafa ism. A rafa ism would be the one who did the action or the subject. A nasb ism would be the one who received the action or the victim, right? And then the jar ism is the one who is in a possessive case or preceded by harf of jar. Okay, so the fact that the Muslim, the singular form of the Muslim, is still maintained here makes it what? Normal or safe or sound. And that is the equivalent of the word salimun. Okay, jam'u muzakkarun salimun. So anytime we have salimun, it means that it is safe. Okay, good. So jam'u muzakkar salim, this is the first type of plural in Arabic. Then we have the jam'u muannas salim. Okay, the jam'u muannas means feminine. It's a jam'u in the plural, but salim, normal. In this course, we call it normal or sound or safe. Safe feminine plural. Why is it normal or safe? Because the form of the singular is still maintained. It's not distorted, right? That's the second thing. So muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. So the ending tells you that it's rafa, atun. Atin tells you it is nasb, or Atin is also jar. Then the next kind of plural is human broken plural. Now, look at the word broken, and yes, it is plural, broken. The word broken is the opposite of normal, okay? If it is broken, it means the singular form of the word has changed when it becomes plural. So the plural word rijalun is actually from the word rajulun. So rajulun is ra, jim, lam. But when it comes to the plural, the word is distorted by this alif. Not distorted by, but we have an additional alif here that breaks the form, or that breaks the arrangement of the singular word, which is rajulun. Okay, so rajulun, rajulani, but rijalun is the plural form, but in this case it's in the rafa status. Rijalan is in nasb status, still plural, so lan, and rijalin is in jar status. Okay, so we have explained why it's a broken, and we have explained also why it is plural. But why is it human? It's because the word rajulun is an intelligent being, right? All intelligent beings are known as the human. Okay. Now the third thing to realize that is that this plural form, which is the broken plural, is treated as she or as is. What does this mean? It means any word that is in form of a broken plural, okay, like rijalun, like buyutun. You see, buyutun is from baitun. So you realize that buyutun will have a waw, whilst baitun doesn't have a waw when it was singular. That makes it broken. So if a word is broken like that, it is treated as she. It means when you refer to the word, you can say she, which means when I want to point at this men, then I can say hadihi rijal, hadihi rijalun, for instance. These are men. It's possible, or haulai rijal. So if I say haulai rijal, I'm treating it as is, which means it is single, plural masculine. Okay, so that's why I can use haulai or ulaika. Okay, but I can also say tilka rijal. Tilka means, that means I'm treating it as she, as feminine singular, right? Okay, so I will treat it as singular feminine, or I will treat it as it is. That is the meaning of this particular phrase. Good. So any word that is a broken plural, don't forget, when you treat it as she or it. There are a lot of things that will depend on this expression, and that's why it's important to bring it here. But because when you have a broken plural and you want to describe it or make an adjective of it, then that adjective will have to reflect this reality. Okay, that's why it's very important to mention that it is treated as she. Okay, she means whenever you want to identify it, or when you want to point at it, or you want to refer to it, you can use the plural. You can refer to it as she. Okay, or as it, right? That is because it's a human broken plural. Good. What about the non-human broken plural? This non-human broken plural is treated strictly as she. Okay, so because it's non-human broken plural, like buyutun, buyutan, and buyutin. So all these are plural words, even though one is in rafa status, the other one in a nasb status, and the other one in jar status. So the an, in is all about the status, but the word itself is in plural form. But this kind of plural is lighairi aqil, for non-human. Okay, and why is it taksir or broken? Is because you can see the buyutun is different from the singular form. The singular form is baytun without a waw, but when it comes to the plural, it takes. So this is buyutan, not, there is a mistake here, which I think I need to correct. So this is buyutan. It's supposed to be a waw here. Okay. Okay, so I think that is it. Yes. Okay. So buyutan and buyutin. This one is also supposed to be buyutin. Okay. So with that, we would have done the four different types of plural, but there is another one called ism jam'u. Ism jam'u is treated as masculine plural, even though it looks like a singular word. Now, ism jam'u is a word that refers to a group or a collection, okay, of things or beings. But because it's a collection, that means it's not one. But even though the word, you know, always looks more singular, it looks more singular than plural, okay? So, but it is treated as plural masculine. So anytime you see ism jam'u like qawmun, which means a nation, nasun, which means people, and qarnun, which means a generation, okay? All these words have a meaning of plural, or their meaning, they are plural, but in their shape, they look singular. But so you treat them as plural masculine. So you say ha'ula il qawm. You don't say hadha al qawm, for instance, because it looks like a masculine. Okay. You say ha'ula in nas. Okay. Or you say ulaika nas, for instance. So this is how it is also treated. So that is actually the end of number. Recapping, and by default, you see a word in a singular form, like kitabun. It becomes pair, like kitabani. But in plural form, you have to determine if the plural is a normal plural, masculine, a normal masculine plural, or normal feminine plural, or human broken plural, or non-human broken plural, or is ism jam. So when I say kutubun, you can see that kutubun is a non-human broken plural. Okay, so kutubun is a non-human broken plural. Why is it non-human? Because, I mean, books are unintelligible being or a thing, right? And it is broken because the singular form is kitabun with a mad alif, whilst the plural form does not have that alif, so that makes it broken. Okay, and it is treated as she, and that's why you say hadihi kutubun or tilkal kutub. Okay, so you treat it as if it's a feminine singular. Okay, so we always say that broken plural are treated as feminine singular. And then the last one is ism jamu, if the word is ism jamu. So in this case, kitabun and kutubun would refer to this particular pronoun. Okay, so that is all about number in as a property or as a second property of an ism. The third property of an ism is gender. So in Arabic, every ism has a gender. That's what it means. You need to know how to differentiate between the genders. Now, how many genders are we talking about? There are only two, either masculine or feminine. Now, but by default, all isms are masculine. So every ism in Arabic by default is masculine. Okay, it can only be feminine if it's either a real feminine or a fake feminine. A real feminine or a fake feminine. So this by default means, you know, all isms are supposed to be masculine, but there are certain things that we need to look at in order for us to determine if that ism is feminine. And these are two majorly. Either it's a real feminine or a fake feminine. Now, a real feminine, of course, is a word that is feminine. For instance, if you look at the word Maryam, okay, the word Maryam, it doesn't look, well, it doesn't look feminine. It is a feminine because it's used to call a woman or the name of a lady or a girl, right? So naturally, every Maryam is a woman. I've not heard of a Maryam man before, though. But because naturally it is. So, for instance, when I say ummun, the word physically, if you have to consider the Arabic way of identifying a word that is feminine, you might say that ummun, the only way I will be able to know that it's feminine is because naturally or biologically, ummun is a mother. and a mother is a feminine, right? So these are the feminine real words, or words that are real feminine. Those ones are feminine. And there are fake feminine words. Fake because they can only be identified by certain letters, like ta al-marbuta, or sometimes this alif al-maksura, or this alif al-mamduda, okay? So anytime you see a word with these three at the end of it, then the word is feminine, okay? Mainly. So when I say madrasatun, the ta there tells you that it is feminine. When I say kubra, kubra, for instance, when I say sahra'un or hamra'un, these words all are feminine because of the ending of ta, and okay? Another way to know that an ism is a feminine is what we have just treated. Okay, non-human broken plurals in Arabic, they are all feminine. So when I say mudarrisun, mudarrisun wa mudarrisani wa mudarrisuna is a normal ism. But when I say for instance, when I say mudirun, mudirun wa mudirani and mudara'u. If I use the word mudara, not mudiruna, even though there are two possibilities here. So when I say mudara, it's different from the mudir in its shape, because you can see that the mudir is mim dal ya ra, but mudara is mim dal ra and then mad bil alif and then hamza. So the form changes. So mudara would be considered human broken plural. But when I say, for instance, qittatun wa qittatani wa qittatun, qitatun. Qitatun is another broken plural. And also when I say qalamun, qalamani, aqlamun, aqlamun is also another broken plural. Okay? But the non-human of those broken plurals are treated strictly as feminine, she. So qalamun, qalamani, aqlamun, I will tell you, i'tini tilkal aqlam. Give me those pens. So tilka is used there to refer to aqlam, because I treat aqlam as feminine, singular. Okay, good. All places in Arabic are also feminine. It doesn't matter where it is. A place is treated as feminine, or is a feminine word. All body parts that are in pairs are also feminine. All our body parts, like the arms, like the legs, like the eyes, like the ears, all these are feminine words, okay? But for instance, the tongue, though is a part of the body, is not feminine. Why? Because we have only one tongue, of course, right? Well, good. The last bit is BASS, because Arabs say so. So there are feminine words that are feminine only because the Arabs are saying those words are feminine. That one we can't do anything about. Those ones do not follow these rules. They don't follow any of these rules, but still they are known as feminine because the Arabs are saying that they treat those words as feminine. So we just take them like that. They are numbered actually. And we're going to share those words, inshallah. And for some of you who have been reading your pamphlets, that's interesting. Just to also remind you that the handouts that you are having is very, very important for you to read through it. At least before this 10 days, you should have been able to go. You should have been able to go through it at least 3 times. Very important. And if you have, or if you had, then you would have seen what BASS mean, or which are the words that are under because the Arabs say so, or because Arabs say those words are feminine. You should have known them by now. But we'll check and see if you can remember those words, inshallah, before the close of today. Okay. Good. So that is all about feminine. So to recap, every ism by default is masculine, unless if it is biologically or real feminine, and or if it is a fake feminine. And these are the fake feminines that we have 5 types. Either it ends with these letters, or if it is a non-human broken plural, a name of a place, body parts in pair, as well as words that Arabs say are feminine, right? So this is the third property of an ism, either masculine or feminine. The last part of the property, or the fourth type, sorry, the fourth property of an ism is the type. What is type? Type is ism, أي اسم الكلمة باعتباره معرف أو نكرة. باعتبار اللفظ معرف أو نكرة. So if I say any ism, if I mention any ism, you have to determine if that ism is either common or proper. So these are the two types of type. Okay, so it's either common or proper, but by default all isms are common. Isms can only be proper when 7 things happen. So 7 kinds of proper isms: an ism that starts with al, an ism that is a proper name, an ism that is the one being called, an ism that is a pronoun, personal pronoun, or pointer word, which we call the demonstrative pronoun, or relative pronoun, or the word before of, if the word after of is proper. This is this is interesting. You know the before of thing. You remember our of yesterday when we spoke about the possessive case, okay? And we said that the word after of is always in jar status, okay? Because it is the it's in a possessive case. It possesses the word before it, right? So when I say kalamuka, for instance, kalamuka, your pen, or the pen of yours, okay? So the word after of, anytime the word after of is proper, then the word before of will also benefit from that proper attribute, okay? So if a word after of is nakira by extension, then the word before of will also be nakira as it is. Because by default, actually, a word before of must be common. Must be common. And you will know why. Any word before of must look common because it is mudaf. And mudaf is always light. No alif alam. Okay? But the word after of, if it is proper, then the word before it will also will become proper. Um, so these are the 7 different instances that causes an ism to be proper. Please don't forget them. Alif alam, when it's on an ism, that ism becomes mu'arraf or proper. Any name of a person, okay, is proper. You call the person becomes proper. Or anything, any one that is called, you can't make it common. It has to be proper. And then all pronouns, personal pronouns, pointer, what's called the demonstrative pronouns or pointer words, asma ishara, relative pronouns, and then the word before of if the one after of is proper. And these are, of course, examples of all these instances for you to take note. Okay, so this is the last property of an ism. SNG, and this is the T. So SNGT are the 4 properties of an ism that we have learned so far. We'll go for a short break and we will come and do a short exercise. But before you come, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Make sure you look into your course or your course notes or pamphlet and look at the page that speaks about the Sahaba story, or what is known as the Bas page, where you know that the words that Arabs say are feminine because they use them as feminine, because they don't follow any of the instances that we mentioned earlier. So we take a short break and come back after 5 minutes. Assalamu alaikum. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So we have now learned the SNGT of an ism: status, number, gender, and type. Please don't forget this. These are the 4 properties that every ism must have, and it has nothing to do with fi'l, and it has nothing to do with harf. Remember that. So this is how you sell it, or you give it to a learner, that every ism know its SNGT, know its status, know its number, know its gender, and know its type. That will have pushed you straight into even knowing how to do the i'rab. Okay, so because i'rab is just about identification, right? So for an ism, for you to be able to identify an ism, these are the only 4 things that you need to know. The moment you are able to detect the SNGT of an ism, you would be able to know its i'rab when we come to the details of i'rab, what components you are looking for in order for you to do an i'rab of a certain sentence. Then you will be able to link them up. And so basically what we are trying also to do is that the curriculum is structured in such a way that these bits and pieces are interlinked, and we show you how you can easily give it out there for it to be understood without any difficulties. So if I know, for instance, that from now on, anytime I see an ism, I need to be able to know the status, the number, the gender, and type. Finish. You know, no 5th thing to look for. For the status, I look at either it is rafa, nasb, or jar. For the number, I will look if it is singular, pair, or plural. For the gender, I will look at if it is masculine or feminine. And for the type, if it is proper or common. By default, you say if we see any word standing alone, first of all, the first thing you have to think about that is in rafa status. Something will call the nasb and jar. If you see an ism standing alone, by default, normally it is singular. Some things you have to see to make it either pair or plural, right? If you see an ism standing alone, by normally is muzakkar. It's masculine. Unless you see those 5 or 7 things that we spoke about, and any ism you see standing alone should supposed to be by default common, nakira, unless you see those 7 things that make it mu'arraf or proper. Okay. Now, there is something that we spoke about earlier on when we were discussing the jins or the gender. And we said that all isms are proper unless if some things happen or they are attributed to certain things. Okay, the ending having ta or alif al-maqsura or alif al-mamduda, or if the word is the name of a place, or if the body parts in pairs, or if any other thing. Yes, those things. And then the last thing is if the word is determined or is said by Arabs to be feminine. Now, in that case, there is a story in your handout. That story is very interesting because that is the story that speaks about the words that are considered feminine because the Arabs say so. So we are going to look at those words. And those words are what you can see in the wine-colored box in this story. So you will take your mouse, or sorry, you will pick your fingers, and then you share with me in your text boxes those words in this story, okay? That is feminine because the Arab says so. These places have certain words that are in Arabic, and those are the words that are said to be feminine because the Arab says so. So it's a story written by the author, and it composes or comprises of those words, and those words are written in Arabic. And this page is actually in your book or in your handout if you have gone through it. And so we are going to enter those words now as you share with me together. So you type through the chat box as we go. So I'm going to read the story and you are going to be filling in the blank, okay? So it's the story of the Sahaba. It says, during a There is a word here. What word is that in Arabic? You can transliterate it in the chat box. During a dash, a soldier was daydreaming. What word is there? And that word is also feminine, as we will know, because the Arab says so. So you can type in the chat box. Hey, am I talking to myself? I hope you can see my screen. Oh. Salaam alaikum. Can you see my screen, please? Because, okay. So please, okay, so you are not answering because you didn't read your book. Okay. It's during a war. Yes, it's a harb. I want you to type the word itself. The word itself in either in Arabic or in or its transliteration. Yes, Aisha, mashallah. It's during a harb. During a harb. Harb, and harb means a battle or a war. During a harb, a soldier was daydreaming, looking up at the there's a word here, at the sama. Very good, mashallah. Until the day, sorry, until the, yes, sama, yes, Aisha, until the shams, very good, until the shams came up. And I hope you are following the story. Okay, during a harb, and a harb means a battle. That means during a battle, a soldier was daydreaming, looking up at the sama, that is the sky, until the shams, that is the sun, came up. When he snapped out of it, he realized he was the only nafs. Okay, mashallah, Fatima and Aisha, he was the only nafs left on the battlefield. And nafs means soul. He was the only soul left on the battlefield. He was surrounded by nar, mashallah. He was surrounded by nar, and that is fire. He was surrounded by nar, so he used a dalu, mashallah. So he used a dalu, and dalu means a bucket. He used a dalu, meaning a bucket full of water, to make a sabil, mashallah, to make a path. To make a sabil means to make a path, and a tariq, yes, tariq, which means a way. Okay, yes, a way. He decided to use that water to make a path and a way, all the way, or a road. You can, tariq can also mean a road, all the way to safer ard. Okay, ard, mashallah. Ard means ground or earth. In the hot blowing rih, in the hot blowing rih means wind. He was desperately looking for a, yes, he was definitely looking for what? A bi'r, mashallah. He was definitely looking for a bi'r, and a bi'r means a well, to draw water from. In his search, he found an empty, yes, bi'r means well. He found an empty dar, mashallah. He found an empty house or cottage or a hut, inside which he finds a kas, mashallah. He found a glass full of a cup, yes, a glass or a cup Full of khamr. Yes, full of alcohol. Okay, full of alcohol. He is tempted despite his fear of his fear of what? Jahannam. Yes, so despite his fear of Jahannam, yes, Fatima Zahra, this is Khamr. Yes, despite his fear of Jahannam, and not only the Jahannam, and the what? Yes, Jahannam and S.A.I.D. Yes, the hottest part of the Jahannam, of course. Okay, to take a sip, of course, a sip of the khamr. He didn't want to take a sip of the khamr because he fears that Allah will take him to Jahannam, and not only Jahannam, but still to Sa'ir, to take a sip. But he wards off his temptation and uses his asa to strike the drink. Yes, he used his asa to strike the drink. And asa means what? Who knows what is asa? Yes, what is asa, ya Rehan? Hawa. Asa means, yes, a cane, a rod, or a stick. Very good, yes. Or a staff. MashaAllah. So he used the asa to, yes, jazakumullah khair. Very good. Now, you see, these words 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 كلمة. So all these words that we have just mentioned, starting from the harb, the sama, the shams, the nafs, the nar, the, which one is this? So he used dalu, the sabil, the tariq, the ard, the rih, then the, was looking for, desperately looking for bi'r, right? And then the ka'as, I can't remember the words. And then the ka'as, and then the khamr, and then the jahannam, the sa'ir, as well as the asa. All these words that have been mentioned in Arabic are feminine. They are feminine. Why B-S-S or B-E-S-S? So because the Arabs say so. So anytime you hear us in this particular program saying bas, B-A-S-S, it means because Arabs say so. So if I ask you, why is the word bi'r a feminine word, then you just have to tell me bas, okay? Because Arabs say so. Good. Okay, so that ends this exercise. So let's look at our Muslim charts. Don't forget, we have discussed all about these ones 2 days ago, and we said that if you are able to take this Muslim chart into mind or into memory, what will happen is that anytime you take any word, you can use this as your scale. How is this a scale? This particular slide, you have it actually in your books. The table is well structured that if you can put it in your mind, it will always remind you of how to deal with an ism. Okay, first of all, you look at the status, you look at the number. So status and number are what can be clear here. The status is either rafa, nasb, or jar. The number is either mufrad, muthanna, jam. And of course, the gender and type can be seen within, because the gender, this one for instance, the gender here is what? Masculine. And this one, the gender here is feminine, right? And then the type can be common or have common or what? Proper, right? So the common or proper we mentioned depending on what happens. For instance, if I say Muslimu or then I will mean that it is proper. Sorry, it is common. But when I say al-Muslimu, al-Muslimu, then it is proper. But Muslimun should be common. So both this table and this table and that table are all showing the common of these isms, but you can make them proper simply, for instance, by adding alif and lam. Okay, so when I say al-Muslimu, al-Muslimani, al-Muslimuna, al-Muslima, al-Muslimaini, al-Muslimina, al-Muslimi, al-Muslimaini, and al-Muslimina makes it what? Makes it proper. Okay, so status, number, gender, and type, which I've just explained, is visible here. So all what you have to do is to be able to put this in mind. If I tell you to read through, for instance, Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna, that means I'm going the Rafa. All of the three are in Rafa status, but I'm mentioning the singular, pair, and plural. When I say Musliman, Muslimaini, Muslimina, I mean all the three words are in the status of nasb. But the first one is mufrad, singular. The second one is pair, pair muthanna, and then the third one is plural jamu. Okay, so if I say Muslimin, Muslimaini, Muslimina, I mean the whole of the three words are in jar status. It's just that I'm mentioning the singular, the pair, and plural respectively. Okay, so if I do this way, I know you know I'm going diagonal, horizontally, and I can actually go vertical also. If I say Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, you know that they are all a singular word, but I'm just mentioning the rafa, nasb, and jar status. So I can say Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, if I mention all in pair and then mention them in rafa, nasb, and jar. Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina, I'm just mentioning all in this line of plural, but mentioning the three status of rafa, nasb, and jar respectively. Okay, so anytime I say give me the rafa form of Muslim, you have to give me the singular pair plural. If I tell you give me the nasb form of Muslim, you have to give me also the singular pair plural. And when I say give me the jar form of Muslim, you have to give me the singular pair and plural. And if I say, for instance, give me the status, okay, the status of the word Muslim, then you have to give me the status either in mufrad, like this, Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. Okay, so if I say give me all the singular form of Muslim, then you have to give me the singular in the rafa status, the singular in nasb status, and the singular in jar status. So anytime any of the properties is mentioned, you have to take note of the rest of the properties to make sure you identify the word. So for instance, if I ask you identify this word, Muslimin, in the case of the SNGT, so you have to say it is in jar status, and it is singular, and it's masculine common. So that's the definition of Muslimun. And Muslimaini, for instance, Muslimaini will be what? What is the SNGT of Muslimaini? I will say the SNGT of Muslimaini is nasb or jar, because nasb or jar, you can see, nasb or jar, they are the same. So Muslimaini is nasb or jar, that is the status. The number is plural, and then the gender is masculine, and then the type is common, right? So any word must be put in this definition. When I say Muslimatun, what is the definition of Muslimatun? What is the status? You say it is rafa. What is the number? The number is plural. What is the gender? It is feminine. And what is the type? Is common. If I give you the word aklaman, aklaman, what is the SNGT of aklaman? You say the SNGT of aklaman is what? Is nasb, plural. Yes, nasb, plural, masculine. Is it masculine or feminine? Aklaman. Is it masculine or feminine? What is the gender? Who can tell me the gender of aklaman? Masculine. Is it masculine? Do you all agree? You see, the class is silent now. Feminine. Why is it feminine? Not, no, I'm asking about the gender. I'm not asking about it being a human or non-human. The gender is feminine. How? Why? Masculine. Why? How? Give me the reason. Because it has no sign of femininity. Okay. That's very interesting, Rabiu. Because it's not broken plural. Wow. Abdul Hamid, mashallah. That's interesting. Because it is not broken plural. Because it's a non-human broken plural. Excellent. Yes, this is a non-human broken plural, and all non-human broken plural are treated as feminine singular. Please note this. All non-human broken plural are treated as feminine singular. Now, why is it non-human? Why is it feminine? Why is it broken? We have explained that. Non-human, of course, because pen is not a human being, right? Okay, broken because you can see the singular form, ka, la, m, kaf, lam, mim. But when we come to the plural, it's broken. You can see, instead of the word starting with kaf, it started with hamza. So there is something wrong with the shape of the singular. That makes it broken. Why is it plural? Of course, because it is here. Because it is more than one. Sorry, more than two, I can say. So if a word is non-human and it is broken and it is plural, then it is treated as she or third person singular feminine. Okay, please don't forget this. So the word kalamun, though it is masculine, but when it moves and becomes plural, it becomes feminine. I hope that is clear for Brother Rabiu. Okay, now let's move forward. So you can see this format. Now you have to now be conversant with this format. Mufrad, Muthanna, Jamu. Anytime you see it, you remember that here there is other three here, right? What are the three here? Who can tell me? If this is Mufrad, Muthanna, Jamu, what other three things are we looking for here? What do you want us to do again? Yes, Fatima, is it Rafa? No. So for instance, I want to say these three signifies what? Or these three make up what? Regarding what we have learned about SNGT, which of the SNGT is this? Yes. Okay, so you're answering yes. So Nadia, this is the number, and what we are looking for here is what? What are we looking for? What are we supposed to put here in order for our table to be complete? We are looking for, are we looking for here we put the status. Yes, Habib. Okay. The three status. Yes, mashallah, Ismail Muhammad Rimi. Very good. Here we are looking for the three status. Now, let me explain quickly what we mean by the broken plural, jab taksir. Yes, you know, let me go back quickly. Forgive me. Let me go back quickly to explain this to Hawa, Sister Hawa. What we are talking about here is we explain the concept of feminine in Arabic, okay? And we said that all words are normally masculine except when they are biologically feminine or when they are fake feminines. Now, fake feminines are words that end with either ta'un or alif al-maksura or alif al-mamduda. We did mention that, right? Names of places are also said to be feminine. And we also mentioned that body parts in pair are also feminine. And we also mentioned that broken plurals are feminine. The non-human broken plurals are specifically treated as singular feminine. What it means is that anytime you have a word that is in its plural form, and that plural form takes a different shape from the singular form of the word, then that word is said to be broken. Okay? Broken. And of course, in a plural form. Now, what is this broken thing? Then I gave an example of the word kalamun is kaf lam mim. Kalamani is kaf lam mim. It's still maintained, right? And when we come to the plural, it says aklamun. So this is where the learner have to know that this word has broken away from the form of the singular. أي أن شكل المفرد منكسر. أي انكسر شكل المفرد. The form of the singular is broken. So that's the meaning of a word, an ism being a broken plural. I hope that is correct, or that's understood. Now, if a word is a broken plural, non-human, then it is treated as he or she. That is what we explain. Okay, I hope that is clear for you, Sister Hawa. And Nora is giving us more explanation here. Says the singular word, what is that? Kamamun. No, has no kalamun. You mean kalamun, not kamamun. Kalamun has no sign of femininity. So the word is singular and masculine. But when it's plural, as in aklam, it's a broken plural and treated as singular feminine. Yes, exactly. Yes, so I'm sure Hawa gets it now from that explanation. Thank you very much, Nora. Amina is asking for me to take that again. Okay. Once again, what I'm saying here is that a word can be plural, either normal plural masculine or normal plural feminine, or broken human plural or human broken plural or non-human broken plural, or ismu jamu. So these are the different kinds of plurals that we have taken so far. Are you okay up to this stage? That we have 5 different plurals that we have discussed so far. Jam'u muzakkar salim, jam'u muannas salim, jam'u taksir lil aqil, and jam'u taksir li ghayr al aqil, and then ismu jam'u. These are the 5. Now, where you are having the confusion is with the jam'u taksir. And actually, the explanation of the word taksir is where we are having the problem, not the jamu. Jamu, of course, is many, because kalamun, kalamani, aklam, you know, aklam is many. And I don't think that is where the problem is. But the problem is you understanding what the word taksir means and why is it treated as she, right? Or I want to understand where your question is. Or what don't you understand? So that I will be specific with my explanation again. So when we say taksir, broken, it means the form of the singular is broken, which means there's the arrangement. So here, kaf lam mim, kaf lam mim. So in the pair, it's still kaf lam mim. But in the plural, you have an answer here, which has been imported. So that breaks the form of the singular. Is that understood now? So that is the meaning of the broken. Now, when it becomes broken like this, and it is non-human, then you treat it as she, or you treat it as third person singular masculine, feminine, okay? There's no any other way. You have to memorize them. I'm sorry for this. Muhammad Dabu, you can't, no magic. These ones, you have to know them. So they are known. For instance, you can easily say, well, I can know that this word is plural, masculine, like una, ina, and atun, atin, atin, because of the hamza, alif and ta, alif and ta. So this one is easy to understand that this feminine plural. It's easy to understand that this is masculine plural, masculine plural. So anytime I see una, ina, ina, is all plural masculine. Atun, atin, atin is all plural feminine. But broken plural, I'm sorry, it's just like you saying, how do I know all the vocabularies? So you have to just wait until they come and you are punished by not knowing them. Okay, so this one, I don't have no magic. You just have to learn them. For instance, what is the plural of baytun? Who can tell me what is the plural of baytun? Baytun. What is the plural of baytun? Okay. Okay, very good. Now notes. Very good. So we have buyutun, 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 and abiyatun. Have you now realized now? Now, ikhtalaf al-ulama. Now, who are those saying the truth? Is it abiyatun or buyutun? The class is silent, oh. Is yes, Rabiu. What about buyutun? Is buyutun wrong? Yes, Rabiu. Is buyutun wrong? Yes, you are right, Amina. Why abiyatun? Yes, buyutun is for houses. Absolutely. Buyutun is for houses, whilst abiyatun is the plural of verses of a poem. Yes, absolutely. So now you see, now how do you know that? How did you know that there is a difference between buyutun and abiyat? Even though the singular form is the same. Okay? Yes, the singular form is bait. But the plural form, depending on what you are looking at, then you will say that it is abiyatun. If you are referring to a verses, okay, or line of a poem. So a line of a poem is called baytun. Okay? So a line of a poem is called baytun. But a house is also called baytun. Now, the plural form, you just have to memorize, you just have to know it. If you don't know it, alimahu man alimahu, wa jahilahu man jahilahu. So yes, the context will determine, absolutely, depending on the context, okay? So it depends on the context of your information and knowledge. If you don't know the Jam'u Taksir, you just don't know it. You have to come across it and then you know it, okay? So Jam'u Taksir has no any format or formula to know it. You just have to go through it, right? Very good. So that is just that. Okay. So what we were talking about here is that this one is the number, and by side here we will have the status. So this is the status and this is the number. So when I say Muslimun, I mean the word is in Rafa status and it is mufrad. Okay, but of course it's masculine and it's also common. The word Muslimin is jar, mufrad, and it's masculine, common. The word Muslimuna is Rafa status, Jam'u, and common, as well as masculine. So this is how we define all isms. To define an ism, you need to have this in your mind. The number, the status, the gender, and the type. I hope that is clear. So let's go forward. This is the feminine. Muslimatun, muslimatani, muslimatun. That means I'm going this way. Okay? Muslimatun, muslimatani, muslimatun. This is the Rafa status of the word muslimatun. How do I know that? Or why the three? The three is, one of them is singular, one of them is pair, and one of them is plural. And this is how to define an ism. When we go to the status of nasb, muslimatan, muslimataini, muslimatin. When we go to the jar, muslimatin, muslimataini, muslimatin. The same thing. For instance, if the word here is kafiratun, kafiratani, kafiratun, kafiratan, kafirataini, kafiratin, kafiratin, kafirataini, kafiratin. Okay? Good. And then let's look at the broken plural devil. So this is the broken plural devil here. That is causing us a lot of headache. Okay? Let's look at the human broken plural. The human broken plural example is here, and I hope Amina, Mr. Rabiu, and Ms. Sister Amina would all be careful, be attentive here. So the word Rasulun, Rasulani, Rasulun, they are all in Rafa status. Though the first one is singular, second one is pair, and the third one is plural. In Nasb status, Rasulan, Rasulaini, Rusulan. Now note, Rusulan. That breaks the rule. It's supposed to be Rasul, Rasul. Here. Where is your su? Where is your u? That breaks it. So that makes it taksir, mukassar. The form of the singular has been broken. Now that breakage can either be by taking off a letter or adding a letter. Okay, whatever it is, it's broken from the singular form. In jar status, Rasulin, Rasulaini, Rusulin. Okay, so if I ask you, for instance, give me the jam'u of the word Rasul. So you have to give me Rasulun, Rasulan, Rasulin. Then I ask you, why are you giving me three? You will tell me that, well, I'm giving you all the status that it can form. And there are only three status. The same thing, if I say Rasulani, Rasulaini, Rasulaini, you know what I'm doing. I've just given you this pair, okay? The pair of the word Rasul, but in Rafa, Nasb, and Jar. So I can either go vertical by concentrating on the number, or horizontal by concentrating on the status. But the gender and type, depending on the word that I am using, I will be able to know if it is masculine or feminine, as well as if it is common or proper. In the case of Rasul, it's of course common and it is masculine, right? But in the case of Rusul, Rusul is common, yes, because there is no alif and lam. Yes, maybe you can say it's common. But what is the gender? How do you treat Rusul? Who can tell me? How do we treat this word Rusul? So if you are going to point at it, will you say Hadani or Hadi or Haulai, or how do you treat it? Feminine singular. No, it's not treated as masculine, Brother Rabiu. Yes, and that's why in the Quran it says Tilka Rusul. Yes, so you can, very good, Aisha. Yes, you can treat it as Haulai or Ulaika as it is, or you treat it as singular feminine. So with the human broken plural, you can treat it as either as it is, as masculine plural, or you treat it as singular feminine because it is a broken plural. I hope that is clear. MashaAllah, Brother Rabi, thank you very much. So this is a very important information, because you see, when you come to even you're speaking your Arabic, these are some of the mistakes that we make when identifying them and using a pronoun for them, or pointing at them, we miss it sometimes. So, but the ruling here says that every broken plural is treated as, you know, as singular feminine, unless of course if it is human. If it is human, you have the option to treat it as masculine plural, okay? But if it is non-human, then it is strictly treated as feminine singular. Please don't forget that. Good. So let's look at the non-human. Kalamun, kalamani, aklamun. So you can see what we meant, we spoke about earlier. Kalamun, kalamani, aklamun. So kalamun, kalamani. So you can see the kalam, kalam. But here you don't see the kalam. What you see is akalam. So it's broken. That's the meaning of broken. I is broken from the form of the singular. And why is it non-human? Of course, because a pen doesn't talk and has no soul, right? Okay. So that is the rafa status. The nasb status is kalaman kalamaini aklaman. The jar status is kalamin kalamaini aklamin. Okay. Now we will take a short break and come back and do something here. Get ready to do a certain exercises here. Okay, we go for a short break and come back after 2-3 minutes. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Aisha, I hope the explanation of the broken plural for tilka rusul is well seated now, right? So what it means is that human broken plurals, you have the option to use to either treat it as it is, or as is, as we say, as it is, because it is masculine plural. Yes, you can treat it like that, or you can treat it as singular feminine because it is broken. I hope that is clear. But it's only with the non-human that we strictly treat it as feminine singular. That is the ruling. I hope that is clear. Okay. Is that clear, Sister Aisha? If you still have any issue, please let us know, okay? So we move forward together. Okay, mashallah. Let's now do something. Now, this exercise we are going to do, I know a lot of you will be thinking, well, we know our pronouns, so what we are going to do now is to restructure or retabulate our pronouns. We have all the pronouns, and I'm sure 100% of you will give us all the pronouns that you know in Arabic. But you see, based on what we have just learned, part of the things that we have been learning for the past 3 days, we have a certain table now in our mind, and that's the table of singular pair plural, right? Now, I want you to maintain that, where you have the singular pair plural, or mufrad musanna jamu. Maintain that table in your mind because we are going to use it now. Okay. So the singular pair plural will be there. And then from the right side, where we had the rafa nasb jar. Okay. Now we are not going to have the rafa nasb jar. What we will have is persons. Okay. Persons. And that is shakhs. So a pronoun has an additional property apart from the status, number, gender type. For information, a pronoun is an ism. You remember we said, right? But because it's an ism, definitely it has the SNGT. But in addition, it has something called a shakhs. Shakhs means the person, and the persons are divided into 3: third person, second person, and first person. So the third person is ghaib, the second person is mukhatab, and then the first person is mutakallim. So we are going to arrange it like that way: third, second, and first. So third will be at the top, second in the middle, first down. Okay. So don't forget that. Singular pair plural, third, second, first. So this is the table I want you to draw in your mind as we go. I hope that is clear. Good. Now, at the line where you have the third, so we have 3 lines now, okay? 3 major lines, correct? The third person line, the second person line, and the first person line. And the vertical one, we have singular pair plural. Please draw it in your mind that way, and let's go, okay? Now, within the row where you have the third person, you divide it into 2 for masculine and feminine. So we have third person, masculine, feminine, second person, masculine, feminine, and first person, masculine, feminine. So now I'm sure the table is drawn now. Singular pair plural, third person masculine, third person feminine, second person masculine, second person feminine, and then first person masculine, and then first person feminine. Okay. We call the third person ghaib, the second person mukhatab, and then the second, not mukhatib, and mukhatib is mutakallim. Okay, but mukhatab is the second person, and then the first person is mutakallim. So what I'm going to do now is that after you have drawn that table of 3 lines, each line having 2 in it, we are going to put our pronouns accordingly into those lines. So you will go with me steadily, okay? In the first line of the first level, we have huwa, huma, hum. So can you say huwa, huma, hum? I'm listening. Oh, I can hear you, Papa. I can hear you from here. So please, if you don't say it, I can hear, because Allah can hear you. Okay. So please say after me. Huwa, huma, hum. I done? Huwa, huma, hum. I hope that is easy. And of course, you know what huwa, huma, hum is. Now, the huwa is singular third person or third person singular. Huma is third person pair, and hum is third person plural. But that line is all masculine. Do you agree? Good. So huwa, huma, hum. I done? Then hiya, huma, hunna. So hiya, huma, hunna. Now here, huma, hunna is going in the same third person's level, right? But that's the second line, and there's feminine line. So here, huma, hunna, is that the feminine of huwa, huma, hum? Okay? So huwa, huma, hum, here, huma, hunna. Can you say that? Huwa, huma, hum, here, huma, hunna. Now, it's so easy that you have taken all the third person pronouns, okay? All the third person pronouns have been done now. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. And can you see something very peculiar about those pronouns? They all having who, right? So they are having ha. So huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. They are all having ha. So that tells you that there's something peculiar about all the third person pronouns. So we move to the second person pronouns. So in your mind, we are coming to the next line. Of course, you could also draw this line on a paper, of course, even though I'm saying you should draw it in your mind, but you can still draw it in a paper. The second line is the second person, mukhatab. And in this line, we're going to hear ant, like, ant. Yes, you will be hearing some ants, okay? So all the second persons will have an ant. So I will be taking the masculine line first, of course, singular pair plural, and then the feminine line. So anta, antuma, antum. Can you say that? Anta, antuma, antum. Then anti, antuma, antunna. So anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna are all in the second level, having the first line being for the masculine, the second line being for the feminine. Right? So let's go over it again from the beginning. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. Right? So we are finished now with third person and second person line. The last line, which is for the first person, ay al-mutakallim, is very easy because we have only 2 pronouns there, ana and nahnu. So, ana, nahnu, you are finished. Why is it ana and nahnu? Because the singular third person masculine is ana, right? And the feminine is also ana. So it's the same. So the singular and feminine is the same. So that's why we say ana for that, okay? For the both lines of the third level. And then the pair and plural for both masculine and feminine is the same, nahnu. So there you have ana, nahnu, nahnu, or an and ana, nahnu, nahnu. So instead of us mentioning this again and again, we just say ana and nahnu. So ana would represent the singular masculine and feminine, and then nahnu would represent the pair plural masculine and feminine. So easily we have finished the pronouns of Arabic language. So I will say them all together. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Third person. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Second person. Ana, nahnu. First person. Very easy. Now I want a volunteer to come and read it for me quickly. I want a volunteer. And please don't ask me what question I'm going to give you. Amina Ahmad. Okay, I can see Amina Ahmad. Can you unmute yourself, please? Unmute yourself and speak. Amina Ahmad. Sorry, are you raising your hand? Or maybe I'm seeing somebody else.
Ustaz, I raise my hand.
Okay, well, go ahead, sister. Now, you are welcome. Thank you so very much for being the first person to speak in this particular batch. Now, you are going to take me through the pronouns. And hopefully you are looking into the camera and you are not looking anywhere. So you have to look into the camera because the answer will depend on the questions I will ask you, inshallah. Okay?
Inshallah.
Very good. Now, we have learned the pronoun. We have learned the pronoun, and the pronoun has 5 properties. Or the pronoun, instead of 4 properties, has 5. What are the 5 properties of a pronoun? Oh.
Stars, please, the question again.
The question is that what are the 5 properties of a pronoun? Hey, I mean, I would say, but you said I should come and read the pronouns. So I didn't, okay, no, sorry. Yes, but.
Okay, Ustaz, the properties. Ustaz,
Hey,
can I go?
Hey, Amina, do you have Naibul file over there with you?
No, please, I don't have any book with me.
Naibul file, I mean, okay, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Amina. I'm listening to you.
Assistant lecturer.
Do you have an assistant lecturer there?
No.
Okay. So now let's go. Tell me the properties. Okay, tell me the main properties of an ism. Every ism must have certain 4 properties. What are they?
Okay, for an ism, we have ta at the end. We have alif walam.
Okay.
If you see alif walam, it means it's ism. And
yes,
then if you have ta it's
yes.
ism.
Yes, I agree.
And then tanween.
Yes, I agree.
At the end is ism.
Yes.
Ustaz, the first one I can't remember.
Okay. But you have to tell me where you are bringing these from. Which book are you bringing them from? What you have just given me. I'm sure you are giving me from me.
I learned them. Is it research we also?
Okay, now I see. But this is not Risalat al-Nahawiyya. This is S.A.I.D. Academy teaching you Nahaw in a different mode. So we said that there are 4 properties for every ism, and the 4 properties are, or they represent the 3 letters SNGT. What is SNGT?
SNGT.
Yes, so Amina, it tells me that you have not been studying. Now you are coming to show me that you know you're the ma'ir. Huwa huma hum. Hiya huma hunna. Anta antuma antum anti antuma antunna. And the basics are not yet seated. You have forgotten the basics. Were you here yesterday and 2 days ago?
Yesterday, yes. 2 days ago, no.
Okay, so maybe that's why. Okay. Now what we said is that every ism has a status, a number, a gender, and type. Some of them are even helping you. Some of them are even helping you on the text message, but you were not listening. Oh, sorry, you were not reading. I'm sure you would have known. So every ism has a status, it has a number, it has a gender, and it has a type. And in Arabic, the status is halat al-i'rab. Yes, and the number is al-adad, and then the gender is a jins al-kalima, and then the type is no or qism al-kalima. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So no, those are the properties of normal ism, but the pronoun has an extra property, and that extra property is a shakhs. That means the person of the pronoun. So there are three different kinds of persons of a pronoun. What are they? What are the three kinds of persons of a pronoun?
The first person,
yes,
the second person, and then the third person.
MashaAllah, very good. Now give me the pronouns that represent the second person. All of it.
The second person we have.
Yes. All of it.
Anta,
according to our arrangement.
Antuma.
According to our arrangement, or not according to your kitab. Okay. So according to the arrangement we've just done, what is the third person pronouns that you know?
Third person.
Yes. Sorry, I said,
did you say third person?
Sorry, I said second person. Give me the second person.
Yes, initially you said second.
Okay, I'm back to the initially.
Anta, Antuma, Antum.
Very good.
Then Anti, Antuma, Antunna.
Oh, perfect. Now give me the third person line.
The third person line.
Yes.
Hua, Huma, Hum. Here, Huma, Hunna.
Very good. And give me the first person line.
Ana, Nahnu.
MashaAllah, very good. So give me the pronoun that represents third person plural masculine. Third person plural masculine. So the moment I get third person, your eyes have to move to the first line, right? Again?
Whom.
Very good. Give me the pronoun. Yes, thank you very much. Give me the pronoun for second person singular masculine.
Second person singular masculine. Antuma.
Second person singular masculine.
Anta.
Very good. Anta. Give me the pronoun for first person plural feminine. First person plural
first
feminine.
Person.
Plural feminine.
Plural feminine. Nahnu.
MashaAllah, very good. Now, Amina, take me through all the pronouns from the third person to the first person quickly. You have 1 second to do that.
Huma, huma, hum. Here, huma, hum, hunna. Anti, anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu. Yes,
so alhamdulillah, you deserve a clap and jazakallah khair on behalf of the whole of the team of feminines in the class. Jazakallah khair. I need a challenger from the males. Please, you can't do this to us. So please, thank you very much, Amina, for that. Any male volunteer? Rabiu, I'm not asking, Mr. Rabiu, I'm not asking you to thank. I'm saying you should come forward, Brother Rabiu. I'm expecting you to raise your hand or unmute yourself, and share with me some of your learning. Okay, Brother Rabiu, are you coming to save to take the male contingent on your shoulder? Or any other person? Ismail Muhammad Rimi, please, you have just unmuted yourself. You are welcome.
Okay, sir.
MashaAllah, how are you doing, my brother? How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Good, MashaAllah. I'm sure you are calling from somewhere in Nigeria. Are you from Nigeria?
Nigeria.
Okay, mashallah. Yes, because I know that the name Rimi. Yes, and so yes, mashallah. You are welcome, brother Ismail. Can you share with us what you have learned from the pronoun?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, read the
I learned the
pronouns.
properties
Read
of
the
pronoun,
pronouns
that is
according to
the
what
three
we have just
properties.
taught.
Okay. The third person is on the first person. And the
Yes.
third person masculine is huwa, huma, hum. Then the feminine, he, who. Second person masculine, antuma, antum. The feminine is anti, antuma, antuna. Then the first person is ana, nahanu, nahanu. Ana, nahanu, nahanu.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Jazakallah anna kulla khair. Thank you so very much. Now let's come to my question. So, what are the properties of an ism that you have learned? An ism.
Okay, sir.
What are the
We
properties
have the
of an
status, which is
yes. Very good, very good.
Number two, the numbers,
Yes.
mufrad, muthanna, wa jam'.
MashaAllah, good.
Is the gender, female or
Very good.
masculine. Then
MashaAllah.
the time, that the last one.
MashaAllah. Yeah. The type is what are the types?
Yeah. Now, the type that the common and the proper.
Very good, common and proper. MashaAllah. So basically, what you have given us are details of what the status, number, gender, and type are. Now, let me ask you this question. By default, isms are they masculine or feminine by default? By default, I mean without any thinking, without any sign of yes.
Masculine.
They are masculines. Very good. By default, are isms common or proper?
Yeah.
Your line is breaking, my brother.
No, I'm hearing you.
Yes,
I said that it's common.
Yes, common. Very good. Now, by default, a standing ism, what is the status of an ism that is standing alone by default? What is its status? Is it jar, nasb, or rafa?
Is jar. Rafa.
Very good. It is rafa.
Kitabun.
Very good. Very good. MashaAllah. Very good. And we also say very good. And so these things that we have just mentioned will give us a guide that okay, so if I see an ism in nasb or jar status, it means something is causing the nasb and jar, right? But by default is actually in rafa status. Jazakallah anna kull khair. Brother Ismail, thank you so very much for this engagement with me. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so very much. I see another hand being raised. Amina Hassan.
Okay,
thank you, Brother Ismail. You can mute yourself. Amina Hassan, are you asking a question or you are making? No, but I've seen Brother Rabiu's hand. Okay, Brother Abdul Hamid. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you very much for joining us. Can you share with us the pronouns you have learned so far? You have 1 second to do that. Run through it.
Okay, yeah. We did learn, of course, to say when we want to recognize like a name, there's certain things we need to recognize on name, like there is alif lam or tanween also. And also something which also you need to explain because you never mentioned that when we're gonna recognize them about I'm talking about Munadi. I don't know whether I call it like that. Which part are you gonna put that one there? Sheikh, I need to know about that.
Okay, you need to know.
For example, Muhammad.
Okay. Jazakallah khair. So you are you're asking a question that when it comes to the isms, when we're discussing the isms, we didn't mention Well, is a topic. Yes, is a topic on itself. It's called al-munada. Okay, so that is a topic on itself. Okay, al-munada. Yes. And what you have to know, what you have to know is that that word is not actually the only word used for nida. You can also use hamza. So we say adawat nida. You can use either ya or a, but they are used for calling an ism. But you can always have an ism after them, not a fi'il or a harf. So it's also another marker, but it's another topic which we have not treated yet. Okay, so yes, it also always precedes an ism.
Okay, sure.
It always precedes an ism. So whenever you see then be definite that what comes after it is an ism. Yes, but it does not. What it makes is that it makes the ism light. That is the only thing it does, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything from the ism. And of course, the munada is always in nasb status. Okay.
Okay. I don't want to prolong on that one there, although I had the last question on that, but if you say we will come to inshallah, maybe.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. And so, yes, Amina Ahmad Ali, are you asking a question? I'm seeing raise your hand. Is that Amina Ahmad? Can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, Brother Abdul Hamid, you can mute yourself, please. Sister Amina Ahmad, are you raising your hand? Do you have a question? Do you want to?
Sorry, Ustaz, it was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Okay, but thank you for that. Okay. Now, finally, let's close today's discussion, and this is what we have just learned. Huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu, or ana nahnu nahnu. Okay. Very good. So these are the pronouns, and I'm sure by now a lot of you who have really practiced it with us would have known that this level is the third person level, and this one is the second person level, and this one is the first person level, both masculine and feminine. But in the case of this, the first line is for masculine, the second line is for feminine, masculine, feminine, both of them. Okay. And as we said, that pronoun is peculiar because it has person. So this two is third person, this two second person, and this one is first person. And how do we? These are a marker. This is a marker to understand, to know the third person pronoun. It starts with ha. You can see all the third person pronouns have a ha, and all the second pronouns have an ant. That's what we say. So ant. Okay. So anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. I mean, these things will make you easily identify, and this is one of the peculiarities of this particular course that we are taking, that we make it easy for people to remember these concepts. Okay. So this is the template that we all know, that we have to keep in our minds. The template of status number. Okay, so this is the status, rafa, nasb, jar, and then number, singular, pair, plural. Please keep this template on your mind because you will need them anytime you want to know the definition of an ism. And then with the pronoun, it has the person. So ghaib, mukhatab, mutakallim. Okay, that's the addition that it has. Okay, but it still have also the singular, pair, plural. Okay, pronouns are said to be isms that stand instead of other isms, but do not comply with all the SNDT characteristics, in the sense that it depending on what the pronoun is, then you will be able to know its gender, its number, and its type. It doesn't fall onto the una, ina, and then dhamma, fatah, kesra, and those things, right? Because it is non-flexible, right? And so they are non-flexible, and the three types of number that we have learned are the singular, pair, plural, and the two types of gender, the common and proper. So you look at the pronoun as non-flexible, okay? But you have to consider its three types, okay, of number. That means the pronoun can be singular, it can be pair, it can be plural. So hua is singular, huma is pair, and hum is plural, okay? And then the two genders also apply, okay? The muzakkar and muannas, that is, so when I say hua, huma, hum, they are all masculine. Hiya, huma, hunna are all feminine. Anta, antuma, antum are all masculine. Anti, antuma, antunna are all feminine. Ana, nahnu are both masculine and feminine. Okay, and it also comprises of three properties, and the three properties are the third person, the second person, and the first person. Huwa, huma, hum for the third person, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, all for second person, and ana, nahnu for the first person. Okay, and this is a table that can also be very interesting to also keep, and this table has it all. You can see the third person level, and you can see the second person level, and you can see the first person level. Okay, and what I would have to add quickly here is that even though tomorrow I will look at it more in detail, is the attached pronoun and the independent pronoun. So what we have learned are the independent pronoun. Tomorrow we will learn how to also add the attached pronouns to them, and the attached pronouns are very critical because a lot of them will cause a lot of, it needs more attention really. But these are what we have learned: hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, and anti, antuma, antunna, and ana, and nahnu. And you can see the attached equivalent, okay? So what we call the dhamir muttasil. And what we have learned already are the dhamir munfasil. So hua is who, he. Huma is huma, hima. Hum is whom, him. Hiya is her. Huma is huma, hima. Hunna is hunna, hinna. Anta, ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. Anti, ki. Antuma, kuma. Antunna, kunna. Ana, e or ni, depending. E when it's attached to an ism, and ni when the pronoun is attached to a fail. Nahnu is na, okay? So this is a table that I'm sure is going to also interest you, and I'm going to share this particular table actually on the WhatsApp, two table that is today, for all of us to be able to know them. Okay, so tomorrow, inshallah, we'll discuss the two types of pronouns for us to get it all in details. And so, just as a way of revision, we'll stop here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Thank you very much for attending. And please, if you have any question, the teaching assistants, as we shared in the mail, are always ready, and you can always type in your questions on the WhatsApp page, where we can always chat together before tomorrow. And don't forget, your Edmodo is waiting for you. The Edmodo platform, I've seen very few participation. Please go to your Edmodo and have your questions. Brother Habib, are you asking a question? Okay, are you having challenge with Edmodo, Asma? Nana Asma, why? You shouldn't be having any challenge. You can call Sister Medina or get in touch with her through the WhatsApp message and so on. Inshallah, it will be solved. Okay? Okay, Brother Habib, I saw you have lowered your hand. Hopefully it was a mistake. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna 'alan nabiy, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu 'alayhi wa sallimu tasliman. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun 'alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Okay, Brother Habib, okay, please, what is your telephone number? Can you just share your telephone number quickly so that we will quickly add you to the WhatsApp page? It should have been added. Thank you very much. This will be done immediately, inshallah. Okay. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, Muhammad Habib. Some of you are not on the WhatsApp page, right? Okay, please. Okay, can you quickly enter your numbers so that because the WhatsApp page, that's where we share intermittent information, you know, so that you will be all we will be all on the same page. Kindly share your numbers if you are not yet on the platform, the WhatsApp platform. Okay, okay. I'll lead this for the next 1 minute so that if you have not, if you are not on the WhatsApp platform, please put in your number before I close this session. Thank you too very much. Jazakallah khair. Okay, Brother Ismail, if you are having problem with your Edmodo, please call any of the numbers that were shared, or sorry, send a text message or a WhatsApp message to the group if you are on the group, and inshallah it will be solved. Okay, okay, because we have shared a particular code for the for those who have not provided their email addresses. If you have provided your email address, it's really very simple. That one, you will have the alert from me. The moment I post any question, you will have it pop up on your email. So you just have to click on your email on that particular link and you can answer the question. But if you have not provided your email yet, then you would have to use the code provided on the WhatsApp platform for you to be able to access the questions. And that's why it's easy for us, for those who have provided their emails, it's easy for them really to do that. Else you have to be individually assisted, inshallah. Okay, I hope that is all the queries that we have now. So inshallah, we'll meet tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, okay, we'll pick all the numbers now and we'll add it to the WhatsApp group. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.